All right. Call to order the meeting of the Recreation Advisory Committee, July 21st, 2022 at 2 p.m. Are there any errors or omissions in the agenda?
Should I approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as recorded.
Oh, sorry, Chair Kate, you are coming in and out there. We can't quite hear you.
I'm going to try and adjust my settings here.
I think it's when you start speaking. It
Better off of speaker?
That's better.
Okay, I'm going to have to turn it like off of speaker to listen to you guys though, so apologize if I'm slow switching. So there are no errors or omissions in the agenda, so a motion to adopt the agenda as written. Can I have a mover?
Okay.
Linda?
Are you talking about just a motion to approve the agenda as written here?
Yes.
This
Yes.
motion, okay, yeah, I approve the agenda as.
And a seconder?
Because there's no errors or omissions in the agenda.
Got the rim passing. Okay, all those in favor? And that carries. Okay, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest?
I wish I could make a fuck up. Scores.
None. Are there any errors or omissions in the minutes of the Recreation Advisory Committee meeting of June 16th, 2022?
It's all for discussion. So.
No, Chair, I will mention that we're going to approve the agenda as amended as we did at the minutes.
Oh, okay. Yes, we did add the minutes. Yeah, so we have to approve it as amended. Mover, Linda, seconder, Chris, all those in favor, repeat. Okay, so no disclosures of pecuniary interest. Any errors or omissions in the minutes of our last meeting from June 16th? Okay, seeing none, motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th meeting of the Recreation Advisory Committee as presented. Mover, Chris, seconder. Paul, thank you. All those in favor. And that carries. Okay, and now I'm going to allow our, we're going to have Ted Shoemaker here doing a presentation for us. And then afterwards, we'll move into 7.1. So take it away, Todd. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today just to bring up to the Rec Advisory Committee that over the last couple of years, we've been approached by Norfolk Minor Hockey in regards to live stream broadcasting for amateur sport, to possibly have it put in the 5 arenas here in Norfolk County. Actually, they came forward asking for it to go into Talbot, Waterford, and Dover. And with through conversation, we just decided if it was going to go anywhere, it should go everywhere. So that's how we decided to move forward. Basically, what it is live stream broadcasting. There's companies out there that will come in and put this system, which is a recording system that can tape and broadcast a game live while it's going on at the arena. There's a number of different camera systems that you can get put in through these companies. Some of them are just stationary; they go end to end. Some of them are actually movable; they move around, they follow the action. They very good for parents that have maybe a daughter or son in figure skating, a daughter or son in hockey. So you got a parent going each way. They can be at the one game or the one figure skating practice and still watch on their phone the other one playing their game at at another arena. Also, you know, there's some grandparents out there that don't get out to be able to get out and see their grandkids play hockey. It gives them an opportunity to be at home, watch it on their laptop or computer. How it works is this company comes in, it doesn't cost the municipality anything. They will come in, they put the system in, they once it's in, they sell memberships for I think it's $14.95. That's the company one, at least the one company that we've been talking to. They sell memberships. I think it's $14.95 a month or something. And that's how these companies make their money back off of this being put into the system. So it's, like I said, it's a good system. We've been working on this for a little while now. Then we had a meeting with purchasing through operations and through IT to get them both on board for moving forward with this. I actually had an RFP that I had written and put together to put out to everybody to see if anybody was interested in coming into Norfolk County to do this. And while we were in that meeting, it was decided that this wasn't an operations project. This was more a rec project. Hence, I'm here today to say, that's why I'm here today to introduce this to you. Basically, let you guys make a decision whether you'd even like to see this in our arenas at all. Make a recommendation to council if you feel that it's worthy. Some of the concerns that we've run into in talking with other areas is privacy concerns, but I know a few of the places we've talked to have worked through some of those concerns, but a couple of other areas have not worked through those concerns. So there are a number of topics or hot items that are with this project or with this program. But I think all in all, if we can get sign off for our organizations, we can probably move forward with this. And we have already in the past had meetings with our organization through minor hockey, figure skating. And for the most part, we got pretty good buy-in on it. There was some questions as to the privacy concerns. But part of this program is if someone comes out and they don't want a certain game that day being taped or broadcasted, it can be blacked out. So no one will be able to see that. Unfortunately, the people that pay for their membership be a little disappointed because they won't be able to see their son, daughter, grandchild, whatever the case may be able to play that day. But yeah, I think all in all, it's a pretty good program. That's why we thought we would come here, introduce it to the Rec Advisory Committee, let you guys maybe have some discussion on it, decide how or if you wanted to move forward with a project like this at all, and go from there. So with that, I mean, I can try and answer any questions you have about this type of program, but yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Thank you so much, Todd. Linda?
Yes, hi. Todd, I think it's a great idea. I think it's an issue though that has to be agreed on, I think, by the majority of the players, the organizations, because I think there's nothing wrong with it as long as you get through those privacy things. I think that would have to be something they'd have to sign off on as a parent for their kids, like whatever opportunities they have, or their minor hockey or figure skating. I don't see anything wrong with it, and if there's not a cost to the county for it, and it's $14.95. Did you find out whether it's $14.95 in the season, or is it $14.95 under contract that you pay for 12 months of the year?
I believe it's $14.95 a month. Actually, Nikki, back before the Rec Advisory Committee was actually put back in place here, was actually part of this, and she may be able to correct me on that, but I think it is $14.95 a month.
Consistent for the 12-month period?
Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair. Todd is correct. However, it's something that we really need to look at, because depending on the program, depending on the vendor that provides the service, and depending on the parents and the package that they want, there's a number of different packages that they can pick. And there is, like, a game or a monthly fee or, you know, more than one user. And so there's a lot of different options for the parents and the grandparents and everybody to choose from. So saying that it is only $1 value per month, it's kind of a little bit of a cart before the horse sort of thing. But there are a number of different options. And again, it would depend on which service and which vendor we brought in.
Okay.
Paul?
Yeah, anytime there's kids being recorded, of course, security is going to be a very big concern. Who controls the system in terms of knowing when it's on, when it is off, and you know, the general governance of what it is recording?
Through the chair, what we have done with the RFP that I had written, we had asked for, you know, 100%, we would have control, so that if someone came in at the last minute and from even another municipality, another organization, and said, I don't want my child videotaped, then we could take it and block that section or that time frame out. Norfolk County would have complete access to every part of the program in order to do that.
Will this affect the any liability claims in the future?
Through the chair, I don't believe so, because it would be posted that there is live stream available and on within our facility, so that people know coming in that they are taped, and that's what gives the option for parents or people from other municipalities, other areas, other organizations, the opportunity to come forward and say, I'm sorry, but I really don't want my child. You know, there's many reasons, could be, you know, custody issues, whatever, that they don't want it done. So we would definitely abide by that if they came forward to do that. That's why we have said that we would want 100% control to be able to monitor that and block it out if that's what was necessary.
Okay, and my final question is just, is this exclusive to the arenas, or have you considered this for the pool environment?
Oh, we were approached by the minor hockey organization, so we brought it forward to the arena portions, but we have also talked about it going to the pool and possibly to even baseball fields and soccer fields as well, depending on how well everything works out with it going into the indoor facilities first. I mean, absolutely, you know, we could put it through as the 6 facilities instead of 5, with one being the pool, and go from there. But yeah, absolutely, it can go into a pool.
Nikki, you have your hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Just to add on to Todd's discussion in regards to risk management. So we did actually have a conversation with risk management in regards to it, and they really didn't seem to have too big of an issue with it. We would go through the whole risk assessment piece, but because the way that the cameras work, it's not like they zoom. So they don't zoom and they don't follow the player. Like, it is more of a global view of the rink. So that close up of the kids, it typically wouldn't happen.
Actually, through the chair, another function of this is the availability for coaches to use it for training purposes as well, because they can go back on it for I think it's 30 days. It's available for them to go back on as it's taped, and, you know, go over plays with the kids to explain, you know, here's how this worked, and, you know, if we'd have done it, you know, a little differently, this might not happen. You know, it gives them that opportunity, and I'm sure it's the same for if it went into the pool. It could definitely be a good training element for kids to see, you know, how they're swimming, what they're doing, their you know, their whole motion, you know, everything. I'm sure it could be a good element for that as well.
Catherine, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did, Madam Chair, and through you, it's going to sound silly, but a legal opinion, I think, might be required on this about who has to sign off. Is it the waiver? Is it each individual child? Is it the parents? Is it the organization itself? Because it seems to me it's way too complicated that every game that you have, if one individual is not happy, that game's going to get canceled. And, what about the referees? And, or is this considered the public domain? And as long as it's sort of a panoramic view of the ice on the arena, that's no different than having cameras in the streets. And I think we got to clarify that, and one way or the other, and that will make a lot of people comfortable, or a lot more comfortable with it. And if you go through with this, those organizations, when they have games, they better notify the opposing teams well ahead of time that this is going on in Norfolk County. So I don't know if you could talk to your higher ups to see whether a legal opinion is required, because the one thing I know about them, they do cost money.
Through the chair, absolutely. That's I can't speak for Nikki, but I agree totally with everything you said, that this definitely should be something that goes and has a legal opinion on it. I know there's some larger municipalities that have this in place, and I'm sure that they have gone that route. And again, I mean, anytime you're taking pictures in any type of facility of public or anything like that, you would definitely want a legal input into whether or not you can first, and how to legally go about doing it.
Yeah, especially because we're dealing with minors on most occasions, right?
Exactly.
Nikki?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Just to add to Todd's response, if you can hear me, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Sorry, if I can just add to Todd's response.
If I can just add to Todd's response.
We did have
a
a
original conversation with
Paula Botus,
the previous
county
county
solicitor,
solicitor.
and she did not.
Can you hear yourself?
Is that better? Oh, yeah, that's better for me. Is that better for everybody else?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, when we first started these discussions last year, we did still have the county solicitor here at that point in time. And she did take a look at the whole explanation, the whole presentation from the one vendor that we were dealing with at the time. And she didn't have anything that was of too concern from the legal aspect, based on the fact and the way that the cameras would be positioned and the way that the facilities would be signed. But it is definitely something that we would have to go further with if that was the direction from the rest of the council.
Julie, it's muted.
Okay, sorry. Through you, Madam Chair, to Nikki and to Todd. Since we're in Norfolk, I can see signing off on Norfolk, not an issue. But if it's a team coming out of, say, Tillsonburg or Elmer or whatever, in advance, do you talk to their minor hockeys and kind of explain to them what we are doing and have a pre-agreement with them so that that's put through their minor hockeys or their figure skating, so that we don't have it when they come right to the arena that game, oh, wait a minute, I don't want my child on there. You know what I'm saying? Can that be done in advance?
Through the chair, I believe it could be done in advance. I think most of these organizations will find out early, probably before the season even starts, that Norfolk has this in place, if it goes in place, and would probably run the gamut on exactly what you're saying, to talk to their own organization, the parents, the coaches, and have them possibly sign off, so they know themselves coming in whether or not it can be done or can't be done while they're there.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So also on top of that, many of the organizations are already being used to participating in
them have it.
facilities that have this in place already. We sit on a organization called Kafka, which is a number of recreation municipalities, rec departments throughout Ontario. And the majority of the larger cities, not so much the rural, but the rural are coming online. But the larger centers all have this in place already. And a lot of times it was implemented at the beginning of COVID. So it is something that is becoming more the norm than it isn't. So I don't think that there would be too big of a issue moving it into our area, but it's definitely something that we would have to make sure that we've checked all our boxes and covered our butts on all of it. So
Sounds good.
Van Patten?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To Todd and Nikki, are you looking for a resolution from this committee that a report be brought before council? Is that the end game here today?
Nikki?
Through the chair, yes, that's probably the best bet, the best way to move forward with this, to have complete buy-in by council if all of council wants to move forward with the program like this. Yeah, we would definitely want to take a report to council to get their input.
Should be motion here.
And then we'll put
Okay.
it up and,
So that's,
Oh, this is hard. I can't speak here at the same time. Okay, all right. Any further discussion?
I'd like to say one more thing is one of the things that we're
Muted. Todd, sorry, you're muted.
Todd, you're muted. Todd, you're muted.
sorry about that. Anyways, all right. So, what was I saying? I know we've stated that it's free to the county going in, but the one thing that we're working on and we're trying to get numbers from other municipalities is how much staff time is going to go into this, because I think it's going to be something else that we have to factor into this whole process. And make sure that we actually have enough staff to be able to monitor this, do it, and to be able to move forward and run this the way it should be run. But yeah, we are definitely working right now to see how many hours of staff time a week other municipalities are putting in this, just to change the program, to put the programs, to put the the games in, to be able to block it out, to be able to do whatever needs to be done. So yeah, we're working on getting those numbers as well.
Nikki, you have your hand up?
For you, Madam Chair. Just to add on top of that, basically, I think what we would be really looking for from this committee is more so just your support. If you could make that known in the minutes that you support the initiative and that we further investigate for the implementation.
All right. Chris Van Passen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to make sure everybody understands the new system we're working under through clerks, these minutes come before the council just as the minutes, and nothing happens other than received as information unless one of the members, council members on the committee, pull this particular item and ask council to look at it further. So if there is a nice concisely worded motion, we can just pull that motion and present that motion directly to council rather than just endorsing the concept. A motion that suggests that council allow staff to bring a report forward to, 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 in more detail or something to that effect, and then we can, either Linda and I will just pull it from the minutes at a council meeting, and council will act on it then.
As comes back, don't make it back to them.
Todd, were you?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one other question. I'm going to ask a question. Moving forward, like I said, when we went through the meetings, actually, Nikki was invited, I think, on a meeting that we had with purchasing and IT, but I think she was on vacation or something. No, weren't invited. Okay, I don't know why, but you should have been. Anyways, it was said at that meeting that this really isn't an operations thing; it's more of a rec thing. But I mean, if you recommended that the recreation department move forward with this, operations would definitely be on hand to help. We're not going to jump ship. I've done a lot of investigation. Nikki's done a lot of investigation. And I think between the two of us, we know pretty much how this thing works and how to go forward with it. But again, like I said, if you wanted in your recommendation that recreation, take the lead in operations, stay on board to help them out, we're more than willing to do that.
Through the chair, one comment. Did you want to try this in one arena to start with, or did you want to install it in all 5 and then take the gamble that it wasn't going to have a large impact on your staff?
Through you, Madam Chair. It would be my opinion that if we are going to implement, we would implement on all. The vendor is looking more towards the capacity that they have and the revenue that they're going to generate, as opposed to coming in and just installing in one rink. And how would we choose which rink we were going to do that in? I would recommend, it would be my recommendation that we would move forward with all of our rinks and see how it goes, because it isn't any cost to us. It is staff time, and that's really all it is. And it would depend on how much staff time would be required. And we'll do that research before we even move forward.
Trying to craft a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you have to put this out as an RFP to see if there's more than one company interested?
Through the chair, no. That is the one thing that I was originally told that I had to write an RFP, so I did write an RFP. But based on, like, municipality can make money off of this. How much? Very, very minor. And based on the amount of money that we could possibly make, it's below the number that requires us to go to an RFP. So we could just go out and hire anybody that we wanted at the time that the decision was made.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think it's time we kind of look at creating a motion, I think, of support for the recommendation in this committee to go to council and make a motion to.
You're muted, Julie.
Julie, you're muted.
I don't think they heard you.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I looked at it.
Through you, Madam Chair, we'll start again. We should have a resolution that indicates that we are, as a committee, in support of this initiative, and further that the Recreation and Operations Committee put their heads together, somehow you craft that, Julie, to indicate that we would bring it to council and ask council for their support and understanding that these two groups, the Recreation and Ops, would be looking at it. So somehow craft that so that it incorporates our support as well as getting it back to council, and Chris and I can speak to it and pull it and have it so that we can get approval by council so that you can go ahead on it. To further have a report, or you might have the report prepared, I don't know. But I think we have to ask, we at council have to request them to do the report. So,
Through the chair, I do have a draft resolution that we could work off of. You need to read it?
yes, you need it.
Okay. That the presentation from Todd Shoemaker regarding live streaming and recreation facilities be received for information. And that the Recreation Advisory Committee recommends to council the implementation of live streaming in all 5 arenas. And further that a staff report be brought to council from the Recreation and Operations Departments regarding live streaming in recreation facilities.
I like it.
That sounds good to me. Everyone agree with that? Okay. Do we have a mover? Linda, seconder. Chris, all those in favor? And that carries. Okay, so next we have our discussion on Engage Norfolk survey questions. No?
Were you gonna ask if there was any questions for Todd regarding from the operations side?
Yes.
That is so.
Yeah, well, I thought we were addressing this all as one item, our 7.1, our kind of discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't hear you, sorry.
Okay. So we have,
Sorry, we can't hear you at all.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we had our discussion there. We passed that motion regarding the live streaming. So for the facility operations, if you guys have any questions for Todd while he's here, because he's the director of parks. So if there is any questions, Linda?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, to Todd. I had in Portland, there's the recreation facility back off of number 3 at the Ball Diamond in Cortland. Do you know if the washrooms have been put up there? The porta potties?
The washrooms, through the chair, the washrooms there, minor ball organizations that use that, I believe have keys for the washroom, so they open them and close them while they're there. You know, that's, there was some concern with some people not being able to get in.
Yeah.
And I think Adam was following up on that to make sure that everybody still had their keys. So I can follow up with him to make sure that that was done and get that addressed.
Yeah, just to check into it. I haven't had an opportunity to get to the Cortland Ball Diamond off number 3. So, okay, thank you.
Yes, I've never been.
I know. Oh, my foot.
Nikki?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I just wanted to maybe give a little explanation here, because one of the things that I had thought with Todd being present here, sometimes the committee members have asked a few questions in regards to facility operations and the parks and the arenas and things like that. And sometimes I'm not the person that can answer those. So I just thought maybe with Todd being here, if the committee had any questions in regards to, you know, how we operate, what their role is, that he could explain all of that if it was of interest to the committee members. And if it's not, then we thank Todd for his attendance. So.
And through the chair, if any time that you have questions, you want me to come every 3rd meeting or something, just to, I can be open, you know, to any questions and answer any questions that you have. I would be more than willing to do that. I mean, I mean, we have to all work together here with recreation and operations, so definitely I would make myself available to answer questions.
Thank you so much. Paul, and then Linda.
Yeah, through you, Chair, to Todd there. I was just curious to know what role operations plays in the development of trail networks throughout the county, and can you update us on any ongoing efforts there?
Yes, I have Mark Borkamp, who is the supervisor of trails and cemeteries. He works with other organizations like the Waterford Heritage Trail, Lynn Valley Trail Association, a number of organizations that help out with design, where we might put them. I know we're working on a trail right now to finalize some concerns, but yeah, I can't really get into that one right now. I believe it was in camera on Tuesday night at council, so I can't say anything about it. But yeah, it's we're always trying to develop more trails. We're trying to we try to make the urban trails, you know, we try to connect with the Ontario Trail. I can't think of the name of it right now. The one that goes across Ontario. Anyways, we try to connect into other larger trail systems so that we're not just within Norfolk County alone. Hence the Waterford Trail connects with Brant, so you can get right into Brant County. You know, we go to Tilbury, or not to Tilbury, to Courtright, to, you know, up to Tilsonburg Way, Delhi. We always try to connect through other trail systems to give people more area and more place to go. So looking at trails. Sorry, go ahead.
When you do this, I belong to the Turkey Point Mountain Biking Club, so we've got 7 or 8 landowners that we work with, including the county, on the trail building. Does the operations department work with other landowners to expand trails outside of just county-owned property? For instance, conservation areas and other land holdings.
I believe we do connect in some of them. I would have to those trail systems, along with there's a number of riding trail systems out that way that I would have to talk to Adam Biddle about. The equestrian trails that are out there, the mountain bike group that in Long Point. Yeah, we do try to connect to make the systems as large as we can. So like I said, people can see more of Norfolk County rather than just on municipal property. So we definitely would, if we're not, we would definitely look at doing that moving forward.
Okay, and do you see this as operations, or is this something that operations and recreation kind of collaborate on together?
I think right now the trail systems, I think, are operations at this time, because like we maintain them, we put them in, we maintain them. We usually, I think, recreation, we may come forward to get input on some of the locations. I don't know that would fall under recreation, but I don't see why we couldn't come forward to get input from this group to help us put them into places that are needed.
Yeah, thank you.
You had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Todd, through you, Madam Chair, is the dishwasher working according to the community center? I have a big issue with the dishwasher.
Dishwasher at where? Cortland?
Langton Community Center.
Oh, I have to take a look at the long-term capital. I know we just got approval for St. Williams to go forward with the one there on the 19th. So I'd have to take a look and see when the replacement time on that is. And if it's getting to be that bad, we may have to pull it forward. But I
don't think it's that bad as much as it just needs a good, because it's sat for so long, right? I just want to know if they got it going.
Absolutely, definitely, yeah. Some of the seals dry out and stuff like that when it's not being used. So we could have somebody come in. I'll talk to Adam and have somebody come in and just do a once over on it and make sure that it's running properly.
Okay.
You could just buy Linda a pair of rubber gloves.
Hey, if you look it up, I use that dishwasher more than anybody. You look it up. I rented it.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, I have a question actually. Todd, whatever information you could give us, I know a lot of the teachers I've spoken to here in Port Rowan, everyone wants a splash pad. Do you have any idea about anything on the feasibility of that, or like when it would be a feasible possibility?
Oh, he's muted.
When, again, I don't even see that there's one in the 10-year capital plan. We would have to move forward to put one in. You know, I think before we do a splash pad, it would be probably ideal to have some kind of open house to see what kind of interest there is in the area besides just school teachers, and for school kids to be able to go in it a couple times a year during the school year. I think, again, I think there would be great use for it, but I think we need to follow the proper steps, go through the accessibility advisory committee to follow the protocols and procedures that they have in place, but yeah, I don't see. I see it would be a good thing out there because they don't have one in that area. They have the one in Delhi, they have one in Simcoe, and it would be nice to have one in that area. We can definitely look at putting something in our 10-year capital plan and see what council says. They keep it in there, great. We can move, you know, maybe try to pull it forward if the need becomes more. But yeah, we got to get it in the capital plan first.
Nikki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add on to that, currently in the budget, there is a recreation master plan update scheduled within the capital budget for 2023. If it makes it through council deliberations, that is something that we would need to get in place before we start looking at any more of these strategic items about putting different facilities in throughout the county. And on top of that, there is a corporate facility review, which is going to incorporate all current recreation facilities. That is going to be started, I would expect, anytime soon in the next little while. I know the CAO is working towards getting that started. So we had originally had, it was just identified as a recreation facility review that was supposed to take place. And it had been put on hold until this corporate review was done. So the corporate review is going to encompass all the recreation facilities as well. So we will have a better idea of what the needs are and the wants are. And at that point in time, we can make some strategic decisions.
Chris Demeester, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. That was that was going to be my question. I think a splash pad in Langton would be awesome. We've got 50 kids in the daycare. We've got summer programs that run at some of the community center for kids. And you know what? It would be great. I've got a little plan right here that shows you how to do it with recycled water, because we have no town water, but I think it's cheaper to run it recycled than it is through town water. I think it would be great with phase 1 with a splash pad, phase 2 with maybe a little pavilion, some picnic tables, some playground equipment. We got lots of kids in Langton. We can draw from outside, from Houghton, from Fairground, from Port Rowan. We can try and work together and do this. So put that in the capital budget for that too, please. Thank you.
Sorry, Madam Chair. I just didn't take my hand down from the last one.
No problem. Paul?
Yeah, I heard you there, Kate. Through you to Nikki. Nikki, what role does this advisory committee play in developing this master plan for next year?
Through you, Madam Chair.
Paul.
I would expect that this committee would have a lot of input into once the process gets in place. We would be very much involved with the consultant that we would be hiring.
Okay, so that process will be kicked off with notification to this committee then, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Terrific.
Van Passen? Julie, you guys are muted.
Everybody.
Julie, you guys are muted.
Sorry.
Just to make sure we invite everybody with the good news, we were informed on Tuesday, we're looking at a 9.5% tax increase for 2023, just to maintain the services at the level we have them now. So, you know, always make sure you balance all the great and wonderful things that we want with the things that we need and the affordability that everybody can get both of them. So, but keep that in the back of your minds, that inflation is not helping us.
No.
Any other questions for Todd?
Nope, we're good.
No? Okay. All right. So, Julie, should we just receive this discussion as information?
Yes, if we could do just a motion to receive as information.
All righty. So, motion to receive Todd's presentation as information, moved by Linda, seconded by Paul. All those in favor? And that carries unanimously. And now we will be on to 7.2, which is our Engage Norfolk survey question ideas. Does anyone want to volunteer to start?
If I may
Yeah,
stop
Nikki?
you there for a second, Counselor or Chair. Todd Shoemaker has his, I think he's got his hand up or he's trying to say goodbye. I'm not 100%
Yeah, I was
sure.
just gonna through the chair say, thanks for having me. You know, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. Like I said, if you want me to come back to other meetings, Nikki knows how to get a hold of me. I can't hide from her, so I'm more than willing to come back. So thanks for having me, and you guys all have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you so much. Okay. Did you have your hand up that you wanted to go first?
Yes, I have my hand up, Madam Chair. I missed the last meeting, so could I have a very brief recap of the Engage Norfolk? I looked at the minutes and I couldn't really derive much from the minutes of the meeting on building questions. So if I could have just a 30-second recap, that would be great.
Can do that. So the purpose, like right now, it's just a brainstorming session. We discussed a little bit last meeting about wanting to kind of have a well-rounded, encompassing survey focused on recreation. So we just wanted to take the time today to try and brainstorm, okay, what information do we need? What information do we have? What sort of questions could we put in this type of survey and help build the framework for that? All right. Does anyone want to volunteer any ideas? Paul?
Well, Chris seemed to have a pretty sobering observation.
Yeah. Put it down on this.
Increase. This is going to make it very difficult to ask for new things. So the framework that such a survey should be centered around is perhaps, are you satisfied with the current, recreational services on offer? And, if not, how would you redistribute the allocation of assets?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Come on.
Well, for instance, we have to balance the number of arenas with the number of pools that we have. We have to balance the number of rec halls that are open, museums that are open, that kind of thing. So, you know, trying to figure out where those resources need to be allocated under the current paradigm seems to be the first and foremost task. Everybody would love a splash pad. I'm getting that, but if we add 2 splash pads, one in Port Rowan and one in Langton, are we prepared to close the Delhi pool and the Simcoe pools to do it? That kind of thing.
No. You have to make it.
That me?
Okay.
Chris Van Passen, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That sort of covers off what I was going to suggest. I would like to know, everything that the county does costs money. We accept that. It's just finding the level of acceptable loss. And, you know, if we could get a question out there, you know, along the lines of what percentage of the operating cost and what percent of the capital cost should be paid for by the users. You know, is that 5%, 10%, 50%, 100%? And, you know, take it the next step further, maybe block it out, because I do know that we have, you know, sort of different rates for youth. We have different rate, I think, for like special needs groups.
Schools.
And then there's the adults, right? And I'd like to see that question out there. You know, is like, that's one of the reasons that we looked at taking the ice out of the rec center, because the level of loss was too high, and we know we're still going to lose 2/3 of the money it cost, but we got to get it at a more reasonable level. So is that something that sort of fits in with what Paul has said, that, you know, if you find out that everybody wants a user pay system, we're not going to have very many facilities left over if everybody's going to pay for it, right?
I agree. We need to have some questions that are not just totally looking forward, but looking at the data that we have on usage, looking at, you know, offering opportunities for people to report barriers of why they aren't accessing recreational services right now, so we can try and maximize what we have and try and solve those problems. I think that's really important. I'm going to give an opportunity if anybody else wants to go ahead. I do have like some notes here I can go through, but I don't want to hijack the meeting. So anyone else have any comments? Linda?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. I think you're absolutely right. I think you have to maximize what we have and the importance of what it has but try to be as equitable as possible. We can't have facilities all at one end and nobody has anything on the other end. So you have to look at that and the rationale for why it's over there, why it's over here, why it's over there. Because it's not going to be all at one end, and that just won't work, and it won't settle well with the public. It'll be quite a discussion. But I think you'll find that people are requesting to keep what they have. They can understand not enhancing, but I think utilizing what we have to the maximum, getting as many participants into these programs as possible, and trying to do the best we can with what we've got. You know, first of all, I think. But I'd like to hear what you've got, Kate.
You can all hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. All right, so I kind of organized my notes in like, what information do we need? So how many people are we serving? Where are they? What ages and like accessibility needs and demographics and ability for the people who are very competitive as well. How much time are they willing to spend on recreation? How much money are they willing to spend? How far are they willing to travel? What activities are they using what activities do they want that we don't have, and how could those needs and trends change over time? And then to kind of not have a excruciatingly long survey, I think before we construct the survey, it would be really helpful if staff could bring forward a report, whether oral or written, of what info, like I know you won't be able to disclose all the info, but just letting us know what info staff has to work with. Whether we can access the community needs survey results, usage statistics. Can we map, like to help council with decisions, can we visibly make maps of our county's demographics, or like income demographics? I don't know if we have access to that. So I think hearing from staff what information we already have to shorten a survey like this would be really helpful. I don't know, Nikki, if you have any input there.
Through you, Madam Chair. Absolutely. If the county has already got demographics and statistics through other surveys, we certainly would be able to pull that information. Being as part of the recreation is part of the community development department, we work very closely with the economic development department, and they've been doing a number of studies as well as the planning department. So for sure, we've got all kinds of numbers that we could pull from. Absolutely.
And okay, so I have like a list of questions, but before that I have some just additional general comments. So I think it would be a good opportunity with this survey to feel out the interest for half season teams and opportunities, or who's interested in travel teams and who's not. And can we link, I think it would be absolutely great. I noticed like when you sign up for the Engaged Norfolk platform, you use your email. So after we are done creating this survey, is it possible for staff to maybe, you know, if they've showed interest in 3 or 4 sports, but you notice they're not signed up for any currently, can we email them a list of services offered in Norfolk County of like, you know, oh, you were interested in these sports, here's some teams you may not know about, here's their websites, that sort of thing, or whether there's an easier way of going about that. I think we should definitely focus on versatility of our spaces, because even if we do this massive survey and we make everything perfect in 20 years, all the interests and demographics could change. So we have to build in that versatility. And another idea is, or question is, do we or could we have the Ride Norfolk schedule somehow work with some of the recreational facilities to improve accessibility, and that would also reduce emissions?
Oh, that sounds good. You get picked up here, over there.
Nikki?
Through you, Madam Chair. I like your suggestions. I like the Ride Norfolk piece. We will be moving to a new contractor in the new year, and I mean, now is the perfect time to discuss with the Ride Norfolk coordinator to see if there would be an opportunity for including some of these facilities, specifically the rec center and out in Delhi, like that area as well. There's some great opportunity right now. So that is something that we can actually have some discussions about. In regards to some of your other questions, you've got some great ideas and something we can certainly start to build on, but just keeping in mind that a lot of our facilities and the way things operate are really based, the strategic piece is really based on the outcomes of that master plan. So we currently do have that recreation master plan, but it was based on demographics and needs back from 2013, 2014, when it was completed and the study was actually done in 2015. And so a lot of things have changed. There's been a lot of new builds. There's been a lot of, people coming into the community. So needs are definitely changing. COVID has really thrown a wrench into a lot of things and have really changed the way a lot of people are looking at what the services we have and how we provide. So the need for that refresh of the master plan is key. But like I said, it is in the capital budget, and the monies needed to be able to do that study are going to be in the capital budget for 2023. So that will be something that council will have to determine whether or not they're going to support that that piece. So, but the needs of a proper recreation master plan that we can actually utilize and move forward with those strategic items will all come out through all those types of surveys and the community engagement that comes along with that as well. So when focusing on the Engage Norfolk platform for us right now, I think you hit the nail on the head when you had said about, you know, utilizing what we currently have, or how can we change the things that we're currently doing and still being able to operate within our current budgets, our current staffing, our current things like that, and better utilizing. So getting more people into those community centers, getting more people into the programs, using that ice better, that sort of thing. So if we can kind of get some feels that way, I mean, that is perfect for what we're looking at right now.
Demeester, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Can we get a copy of the master plan, or is it online? This master plan?
Through you, Madam Chair, the master plan was sent out at the very inaugural meeting to all the committee members. If you do need another copy, I can certainly get it off to you. That's no problem at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What we can do is we can send the link out to everybody again. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read it, but yeah, it would be good to have it again and reread it and kind of go through it again. But I do like your ideas, Nikki, and Kate, and I do like the versatility of spaces one. We really need to concentrate on that, on how we could maybe utilize, you know, like as some of these arenas for summer ball hockey or inline skating or anything like that, or even indoor basketball or set up indoor badminton, anything, something inside these buildings.
Through you, Madam Chair. Just to answer your question, Chris, I really would love to say yes, that is exactly what we need to do. The problem with that we have right now is staffing. So in the summertime, our operations team are all out in the parks. We do not have staff to be able to be in the facilities, and we can't have things going on within the facilities if there's not staff in them because of the refrigeration systems. So it does require additional staffing if we were to start implementing things like that. I love your ideas. I think we need to as well, but it all comes back to staff and whether or not we actually have the staff to be able to do it. There's a number of things that we can do from a programming side, and we do have some versatility with some students and things like that. But again, when you go into we can do it within the community centers, no problem at all. But when we go into the arena facilities, it actually has to be one of the operations staff who have the training on the whole refrigeration side of the house.
But even if we're not using ice.
No, it doesn't mean that.
No, it doesn't mean
Yeah, this is more of a comment through the chair than anything, but the master rec plan from 2013 informed the decision to pursue a hub based on the fact that there was a life expectancy issue with many of Simcoe's recreational facilities. So I think any future survey should include some kind of educational piece that can very succinctly summarize the challenges that the existing recreational assets face, so that the community, when they're engaged, understand that you know, the Simcoe pool is nearing 50 years old. And you know, it requires a great deal of investment to maintain that pool for another 10, 20 years. So the question is then, do we put it into the existing pool, or do we look at a whole new facility that might cost 1.5 times that value or 3 times that value, whatever it is, and then ask the question, about pool usage. Because, everybody who is a user is also a taxpayer, and they need to Chris's earlier comment is very well taken, but we have to look at, what can we do with our existing facilities, knowing that there's a fairly significant investment in the next 10 years on these existing facilities. Over.
Through you, Madam Chair. Well, you're right. And that is all going to be encompassed within the corporate facility review that is currently on the docket to be completed. So they will look at all of that and they will determine whether or not we are in need of new facilities or whether we can update the ones we have and then put forward the plan from there.
Yeah. Oh, she's saying Linda or help.
No, I think she said Linda.
Anyway, through you, Madam Chair, I think we also have to ask the question about partnerships. I mean, you have these facilities. It's important that maybe there could be more partnerships with others, such as Fanshawe, such as the other both boards of education. There's things that can be done as long as there's partnerships involved. And I think what happens when you do that is you get more monies coming federally or provincially because they like the idea of partnerships. So I think that's important for a survey question. Do you think we should partner with? And ask people, do you understand what partnerships mean? Can we work with the boards of ed? Can we work with, say, Fanshawe to incorporate other things that is useful for them as well as us and the community and help share in the costs?
My volume here. Okay, I think I'll just go through my list of questions, and I know it's like something that's going to be a long process, but just while we're here and it's on the agenda, and some of this I've already gone over, but I think some of the questions, kind of general questions that are going to help us make those, well, not us, but council and staff, make those tough decisions. If we know, family size and ages, accessibility needs and skill level, how much money are you willing to spend as a family on sports and rec per month, per year, opportunity to volunteer their family income if we want to see kind of how much people can afford, whether they prefer drop-in or scheduled programs, half season or travel teams, how many days or hours per week would you spend on recreation activities as a family, which months of the year are you wanting or not wanting to partake in recreation activities, how many scheduled rec activities would your family be willing to be doing at the same time, like, if we have baseball overlapping with the little brother's t-ball, that sort of thing.
It does.
How many hours or minutes are you willing to drive per week to go to recreational activities? What towns are you willing to travel to regularly? And I think these sort of questions, whether it's like which towns or how many kilometers or minutes, whatever option seems to work best, that will give us some idea of how we can best use what we have and say, okay, well, we don't need to offer this program in every single facility. If we can say, okay, some programs will be, but if some programs can just be designated in a certain facility that everyone interested is willing to travel to, like if we got a splash pad in Langton first, I would be definitely driving my kids there, no problem, right? That sort of thing. What activities does your family do? What have they done? What do you want to do but haven't been able to? What have those barriers been? And maybe listing those activities, because can't offer every single activity, but maybe if there's a rating system of like interest 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or something like that. And any like a space for any other comments, you know, where people can say if they have concerns about like noise, if there's certain, or environmental impacts, if there's any places where they say, hey, like we don't want a recreational facility to ever be built in like this area, we need to take that feedback into account too. But that's just my notes. And yeah, any other comments?
I just want to.
Linda, go ahead.
Thank you. I want people to realize that the county doesn't offer these programs such as baseball, hockey. The organizations offer that. So if you're looking for, what the question would be, are there enough volunteers for these different organizations and where can they go? Such as minor ball, minor hockey, minor this, minor that, or does there want to be a tennis association created in Norfolk? Or is there further in the pool that there could be different programs offered? Are people willing to come together to set up these organizations? So then the county would take a look at where can we offer these programs? And like, and the facilities, are they there? Do they need assistance? All that type of thing. But because some of these information things that you're looking for are not, you're looking for those people that want to run the programs and get involved. And I think that's a good question. Do you want to get involved in recreational activities in Norfolk County as an organizer, or what, you know what I mean?
Was part of, yeah, organization.
Yeah, because you have to have organizations for us to look at to see if we want to offer that. Like if there's a tennis club or a, you know, volleyball, basketball, whatever.
I think that it definitely would be good, yeah, to look at that for sure. But I think asking those sort of questions, yeah, it's more focused on the people who are operating those teams, but it also gives us the information to be able to know what sort of facilities we need most, right? Because even if we have other teams, like other private organizations that are having partnerships and running all these teams, we still need to know what facilities we have to have for infrastructure as a county to be able to host these teams that are interested in offering their services here.
That too. Mm-hmm.
Button was going crazy there. All right, any other comments or questions?
No, down.
Okay, so no other comments or questions, so I think we can, hold on, I'm just looking for a motion for this. How does this sound, Julie? A motion that staff be requested to consider incorporating the suggested strategies and comments of the Recreation Advisory Committee into the Engage Norfolk platform. Good? Okay.
That sounds good. Do we think we should receive the discussion of information and then have that as the and that? Perfect.
All right. Julie, my mic is not great. Do you mind reading the motion all together?
Sure. Just one moment. All right, I have the beginning at least. So that the discussion be received as information and that staff be requested to consider the discussion and suggestions from the committee while preparing an Engage Norfolk survey.
Yeah. What I have written is that staff be requested to consider incorporating the suggested strategies and comments of the Recreation Advisory Committee into the Engage Norfolk platform.
Perfect.
Okay, can I have a mover? Chris, seconder? Paul? All those in favor? And that carries. Okay, does anybody have any communications or other business? Nikki?
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to give you all just a little update on our summer program. So our summer day camps are pretty much all at maximum for every week that we have, which has been awesome considering the last couple of years and how they were, well, we had reduced capacities at the time, but this year they seem to be going all systems as well as they possibly can. So that's been awesome. We did struggle a little bit with staffing and we would have been able to take more kids, but we honestly had a really difficult time getting enough people to want to work for the summer. So aquatics, the swimming lessons are becoming a little bit better, well attended. We've still got some room in those. But we have implemented a new, we brought back a new program actually, and we've been partnering with the Grand Erie School Board as well as the Catholic School Board to offer a after-school program out in Delhi starting in September.
Oh, great, great.
So when we had, when they had reached out to us, we had said, you know, like we're willing to look into it and see what we can do. We tried it a year or two ago and there wasn't enough interest. This year, we had requested that if we were going to move forward with it, that we needed to have a commitment of at least 30 participants right from September to the end of the school year. We honestly thought that it wasn't going to run, but I can honestly tell you that we are at our max every week, with the exception of one or two, are filled to the brim. We've hit our 30 capacity already. So it's really interesting. So there is definitely a need out in the Delhi area, that is for sure. And we are happy to be able to implement that program and partner with with both school boards. So and which was kind of a really cool thing because it was, you know, the Grand Erie School Board and the Catholic School Board, and we're going to be busing kids from the Catholic school into from the Grand Erie School over into the Catholic school. So the program is actually going to be held at St. Francis. So it's been awesome.
Awesome. Well needed. Well needed.
Yes, on a somewhat more sobering and negative note, I'm unhappy to report that we have some people who think it's very amusing to throw thumbtacks on trains, and they've caused over 30 flat tires on mountain bikes, primarily on people who are not from the county, who don't have the investment the regular riders do to go tubeless. So and it's affected dog walkers and barefoot runners as well. So it's not just down in Turkey Point, it's up in Paris, Brantford, it's over in Tilsonburg, it's up in Aurelia, it's on the sides of roads with people riding the road bikes. There's a real negative trend here, and the biking communities and the trail users are all very concerned about this. So I just bring it here for information at this point.
Not happy to hear that. Have you heard anything, like, is there anyone who has trail cams or anyone that's been able to get a shot of these people?
Well, I sit on the Turkey Point Mountain Bike Club executive, and we're working with our landowners to secure permission for trail cams. We're going to catch the guy who's doing this. And at this point here, we're working to develop trends. We do have trend reporting in place, And we're doing everything we can to catch this guy, and we're going to prosecute him.
For sure.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. All right, any other comments from anyone? Any other communications? No? Okay, so seeing none, our next meeting is scheduled for September 25th. Now, with the discrepancy, the 2 versus 2:30, does either one work better for anyone else?
September 25th. September 25th, can you check the date or day on that date? You sure?
August 25th is a Thursday. September 20th, well, third Thursday would be September 15th.
Okay.
Or September 22nd.
But it's not a Sunday.
The 25th of September is a Sunday.
Yeah, the 25th of September is a Sunday.
Wonder if that was an error. I looked at the list from our original one. I wonder, because it went from July to September. So I wonder if it's supposed to be August 25th then.
No,
We do have an August break.
we have the August break now.
Okay. So when would be good for our next meeting then?
Well, who's the other guy? Who's the man on their committee? Who's the other one? Sits here. What's his name?
Ryan?
Ryan. And he's a teacher, so I think 2:30 was kind of better for him. So keeping him in mind, I think we should stick with the 2:30 because even if I look at my notes from the last time for this meeting, it was scheduled for 2:30. It's September.
September, yes.
September.
Yes, just for consideration, Chair, I'm away September 15th. So if we go with September 22nd, I can attend, and I would prefer 2:30 over 2 o'clock in general.
All right, so does September 22nd at 2:30 work for everyone? If you could make a note, then we'll schedule our next meeting for September 22nd at 2:30 p.m. Okay, all right, ready to adjourn. So, Councilor Van Passen?
Just a request, could you circulate your notes from the input you had for the survey?
Yeah, no problem. I can type those up and I can email them around to everyone after the meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, guys. And can I have a motion to adjourn the Recreation Advisory Committee meeting of July 21st, 2022 at 3:24 p.m. Moved by Paul, seconded by Councilor Van Passen. All those in favor? And have a great night, guys. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good break, Nikki.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Enjoy.
I'd like to, but we don't have a meeting scheduled in the middle of the month.